Alright, so we are back for another Dokkan battle video, and in today's video we are going to be looking at the LR Tapion and Minotia, because of course, with the reveal that we are going to be getting Wrath of the Dragon themed for the up-and-coming New Year celebration, at least on JP Dokkan. We don't really know what's going on with Global, but on JP, we should be seeing the EZA for the LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and then potentially getting an EZA for this guy right here, because I'm going to be completely honest, he completely flew over my head when I saw Wrath of the Dragon was going to be New Year's. Obviously, all I was really thinking about was the LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but completely forgot about this guy. But after going over his kit a little, dude, he's got some insane potential. Even more potential than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I'd say, because he's got damage reduction, he's a support, and, you know, if they give him attack and defense on Super and then just bump up what he already has, this guy could be absolutely insane. Or I guess they could be absolutely insane. And, of course, there aren't a lot of weak teams, so overall, could be a great release for the game as long as they make them good. I mean, they could easily not change a lot, and then they're just still kind of mid. Because right now, I mean, they suck, right? Let's not beat around the bush. They just kind of suck. They've been out for a couple years. They're a early 2021 unit, so of course they didn't age that well. Their linking partners absolutely suck as well. We just haven't gotten that many Tapions or anything like that. They only have one 200% leader skill, and that is with the Dokkan Fest Android 17 and 18. So maybe you could use this as proof of them getting an EZA, because, you know, they kind of set them up with a 200% lead, so then they could actually have a good team when they get their EZA. But even if they end up getting the EZA, am I saying this is a good team for them? Probably not. So we'll just end up running them on one of the new Dokkan Fest units for New Year's. But anyway, right here, we're sitting at 289k defense. We don't have any support, and we've got 5 out of 7 links activated. So we are missing Cold Judgment. Keep that in mind. Cold Judgment does give, I think, 25% defense at link level 10. So we're missing out on a good amount of stats right here. But still, not even 300k defense. So that obviously sucks, because there's no guard right here. There's no dodge. There is a little bit of damage reduction, but it's only on super. So AoEs, or if we just get supered first thing, if we put him in slot 1, are going to absolutely crush this guy. He's going to get obliterated, because not even 300k defense just by itself, of course, does suck. But key, looking really good right here. We're going to get, I think that's like a 20 key super or a 19 key super. And then, like I said, we got a good linking partner with him right here. We don't have any support, so this should be a pretty interesting rotation. This is very realistic. Turn 1, you know, he doesn't build up or anything. Got a good linking partner, and a little over 5 million right there. Okay, so that's not that good, but we do have built-in additionals right here, which we did get for 3.3. So, yeah, he's not getting defense on super. I guess we can just start going over his kit. So his 12 key is that he causes colossal damage to enemy and then lowers attack and defense. The lowering of attack and defense is pretty good. I guess for Super Battle Road, that can be kind of useful, but this isn't necessarily a Super Battle Road unit. I guess he's not going to be bad for Super Battle Road, though, because he doesn't build up or anything. He's just straight up turn 1. That's going to be his performance for the rest of the fight. So if you want to bring him in Super Battle Road when he gets his EZA, assuming they keep the same thing where he doesn't build up or anything, he definitely could be pretty good in there. And then his active skill, you can get on turn 4. And it's really easy to get. You just have to have like a siblings bond or a stored figures category ally. So in some Super Battle Road runs, you're going to get that active skill as well. So definitely not the worst choice for Super Battle Road, especially because he's on some weak teams as well. And yeah, his 18 key is that he greatly raises attack for 1 turn, causes mega colossal damage to enemy, and then massively lowers defense. I guess the 50% attack is kind of nice. That's about all I can say. Massively lowering defense. Don't get me wrong, it's good that he's massively lowering defense instead of just normally lowering it or greatly lowering it, but am I really saying that's still good? No. Most of the time, you're not going to be able to make any use out of that whatsoever. Like I said, you can run him in Super Battle Road, but I don't know. I feel like massively lowering attack would have been a lot more impressive. So with his EZA, give him 50% attack and defense, and then have a massively lower attack and defense as well. And then that 18 key super attack could be really good. And then on his 12 key, I would say at least just give him 30% defense. If they want to give him just 30% defense and call it a day, perfectly fine with me. If they want to give him 30% attack and defense, or just make it to where he gets 50% attack and defense on 12 and 18 key, then I think that could make him really busted for slot 2 and 3, because then you let him do his supers, he's got built-in additionals, he's getting the damage reduction with every super performed, and he's also getting 50% the stats with every super performed. You know, his stats are going to ramp up within the turn alongside that damage reduction, and he could look absolutely insane after he supers. Now, of course, that would still leave him vulnerable to AoEs. Maybe if he gets locked in slot 1 or sealed or something like that. Of course, he's going to be heavily nerfed, but that's kind of the theme they got going on with this guy. And with a lot of units, when they get their EZA, they keep the same theme. They don't really go in a complete different direction. that's why you can usually kind of predict what units are going to look like with their EZA, as long as they're not like crazy old. Because like with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the LR one, dude, we have no idea what his EZA is going to look like, because he has like 2 lines in his passive, so they could realistically do whatever, because of course they have to add a whole bunch of stuff. But with a unit like this, we can kind of tell he's going to be one of these support units, because he's already a support unit, and he's also going to be a godly slot 2 and 3 option, because he gets his damage reduction on super, and then also he's got built-in additionals, and then, you know, all these other things in his kit. So anyway, right here, pretty much same defensive stat, a little under 300k. I think we still don't have Cold Judgment activated, and we don't have any support. Yeah, we can still get an 18 key super though, so we're going to get 9 key right here. Yeah, not the craziest turn. I want to get him with Pycon, because I'm pretty sure Pycon has Cold Judgment, so not only will he give him that, but then also the Pycon will support a little, so we can see his defensive stat. Probably go a little over 300k. And 300k damage reduction, or not 300k damage reduction, 300k defense, then with his little bit of damage reduction, I guess he can look kind of impressive. Maybe even now before his EZA, if you want to bring him in like a difficult event with type advantage, he might be able to tank normals. Like, we'll bring him in Metal Cooler Core, and we'll see how good they're looking. Because if you get your supers off first, if you get really lucky with the Hidden Potential System additional, so you get the 3 supers, I think this guy can get 39% damage reduction. So basically 40% damage reduction with 300k defense. And he's a support. So definitely some pretty good value with that, considering he's like 3 years old, right? I mean, obviously we're talking about him getting an EZA. So not that bad. We can finally start going over his passive. Sorry, I know I keep on saying everything about his passive, but for you guys who don't have his kit memorized, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So he starts off with 130% attack and defense, and then he gives stored figures category allies 2 key and then 20% to stats. And then also, he gives Siblings Bond category allies 2 key and 20% to stats. So with his EZA, you make that 3 key and 30% attack and defense to stored figures and Siblings Bond, and then he is extremely valuable, because then you could just keep him as a floater on the team, you know, leave him in slot 3, let him do his thing. As we already established, he's better in slot 2 and 3 anyway. And then he's just supporting all these other units on the team that are on Siblings Bond and then stored figures. And he's just going to be really, really useful on that team. So I definitely think this guy has a really good spot lined up for him. But all they have to do is actually make Siblings Bond and stored figures good teams. I know that's really difficult. You know, if it's not a sand team, Dokkan doesn't want to make it good. So it's definitely a very a heavy load to ask for Dokkan. But it's just, it would work out very well for this unit. I'll say that. But anyway, right here, we are at 200k defense. So our defense did drop a little, but we do have Cold Judgment activated right here, and we can use their active skill. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play this. Their active skill does actually give them some stats for a couple turns, so it's definitely very useful, and you can see here we got it on turn 5. So not that tricky to get. There's no HP restriction. It's just simply once you're on turn 4 and there's a stored figures or Siblings Bond category ally, you can pop it. And then like I mentioned, you get some pretty good stuff with the active skill as well. So we'll play it, and then we'll go over what it does specifically.
伝説の剣と笛で守ってみせる。
Alright, so the active skill removes all allies' negative effects. So I guess if you get stunned, sealed, anything like that, just completely gone, which is definitely very useful. You also support all allies for 3 key, so that's really good, because a lot of units you're running him with, he might not link that great with, because obviously a lot of the Tapions kind of suck, so you don't want to really run them, and those are, you know, this guy's best linking partners. So you're usually running him with a lot of other units that aren't going to have a lot of key. So then having a 3 key support is definitely very useful. And then he gets 20% attack and defense for 2 turns. Definitely really good as well. You could see here with the 20% attack and defense from the active skill, he jumps up to 245k defense. And then I think we're going to get the support with Pycon right here. Yeah, we got it. Okay, so then we're going to jump up to 272k defense. All right, not as high as I thought, but still pretty good. We're going to get a 21 key super. And this is the last rotation we'll show them, and then we'll bring him versus Metal Cooler Core. So overall, not the worst rotation. Like I said, you got some stats from the active skill. He's going to get the damage reduction with every super performed, because like I mentioned, he gets 13% damage reduction with every super done within the same turn. So it doesn't like stack, or it does stack, but it doesn't carry over into the next turn. It just stays within this one turn right here. So unfortunately, the damage reduction is not permanent. I guess that's one thing they might be able to do, because if he keeps the damage reduction, that would make him a much better slot 1 option, but I don't know. It kind of depends on how they want to like handle this guy's EZA. I think, again, they're probably going to want to keep the same theme and go for a slot 2 and 3 unit. But then this guy does also have a medium chance of launching an additional super when you perform an 18-key super attack. So I would probably recommend going full additionals with this guy, because then if you can get, perfect RNG, get 3 supers in a turn, you get 39% damage reduction. And of course, that's going to be pretty useful. I mean, it's still not that crazy, but it's going to make this guy look a lot more impressive, because if you don't have him with any built-in additionals, he can only get 2 supers, and that's 26% damage reduction. So the difference between 26% damage reduction and 39% obviously is pretty significant, so you're going to want to make sure you at least give him some additionals, and then I would say go dodge with the rest. He already has the base 5 crit, so no real need to go any more on that, because he's not really a damaging unit. He can do good damage once he gets all of his additionals, and then he's also critting, but not really a damaging unit. So I would recommend go additionals for the extra damage reduction, and then do dodge, because then, like we said earlier, if he gets AoE'd, if he gets sealed, something like that, it's going to make him heavily nerfed. So then if you do have some dodge in him, you still have that opportunity to take no damage. So with all that shown, let's go and cut to the Metal Cooler Core Red Zone test. I think if we get really good RNG, he might be able to tank normals, so this should be pretty interesting. All right, so we're here fighting Red Zone Metal Cooler Core. We got a really good rotation for the Tapion and Minotia. You can see here we got 4 out of 7 links activated. We do have their active skill as well, so we get a little bit of stats from that going on. Now, we are going to throw them in slot 1, because we're taking this 1 attack before we super, and then we can compare it to the damage they take after they super. So 230k defense. All right. I mean, we'll see, right? They got type advantage. They get that little bit of damage reduction. Let's see how far that can help them out here. Well, I mean, I think they get a little bit of support from the 17 and 18. No, they don't. Oh, yeah, they only support tournament participants. Okay. So 84k from that first super, 7.3 million attacks. That not bad, because he's got built-in additionals, which, by the way, we really need that right here. So it'd be nice if we could get that. Okay, or not. 50k. So with the triple super, I'm pretty sure we're tanking double digits, but I don't know. A double super, I think we still would have taken about like 10, 20k per normal. 462k from the super, only with 1 super attack. So we survived. Damn. Okay, well, we survived with 20k HP, but we survived, right? I don't want to take that away from them. We still lived. Not bad, if I'm being completely honest. 400k from his super. Okay, well, okay, let's be realistic. It was more towards 500k. So we'll say 500k from his super. And then definitely taking double digits if they got the triple super. That's not horrible. Like, keep in mind, they're getting EZA soon, probably, hopefully. Let's hope they're going to EZA soon, because, dude, these guys could be insane. Like I said, with the damage reduction, with the support, everything, they could have more potential than the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I really think that, because with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, it's really difficult to see the direction they're going to go in. They could easily fumble him, if I'm being honest. Like, they don't give him any damage reduction, no guard, no defense, really. Just make his damage a little bit better. And then 6 months from now, we're never going to use him. But these guys, if they give them maybe, I don't know, 15% damage reduction with every super performed, give him a high chance to launch that additional super when you do an ultra super attack, and then give him another built-in additional, make him support for 3 key and 30% to stats, make his attack and defense buff start of turn, like, I would say 200%, but if they really want to lowball it, make it 150%, and then give him defense on super. You do those things, which are all very realistic for his EZA. I think those are definitely things we could see, and then this guy's amazing. So I see the potential with him. I think he could be absolutely amazing. Let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking of Tapion and Minotia and what you want their EZA to look like, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.